Sharon here. I'm back with another Spellbinders project, and this time I've got a real autumn theme card to share with you using this lovely Fall For You stamp set, which is designed by Tammy Tutero. And I've also got this wood grain background that's also designed by her. And I really wanted to have the text on top of the wood grain, but I want to colour in the open areas within the lettering, and I didn't want the wood grain showing through. This is obviously a bit fiddly to mask, so what I decided to do is stamp it out first, and then I'm going to use some Cosmic Shimmer masking fluid to cover all the areas that I'm going to later colour so that the wood grain doesn't show through them, if that makes sense. The card I'm using here is Creative Expressions Foundations card in taupe, and I've stamped the text in VersaFine Vintage Sepia. I went a bit fast through that bit. So I've grabbed my masking fluid, and you want to use quite an old paintbrush for this, because no matter how well you clean it, you never quite get the masking fluid out. So this is a brush that I've used before for masking fluid, and it wasn't an expensive brush in the first place. You certainly wouldn't want to use your best brushes for this. Hopefully if I give this one a good clean again, it will last me for a few more attempts with this masking fluid before I have to throw it away and find another old brush. So I'm just going through covering all the open areas in the lettering. These are the areas that I want to colour afterwards. I don't need to cover anything else because they're just fine lines, so the wood grain will kind of go over those and it won't matter. So I'm just going to continue in this fashion, colouring in all the open areas, and then I can set it aside to dry. I've left that for about 10 minutes and it's touch dry now, so I can continue with my stamping. As long as you don't put it on too thickly, it should only take about 10 minutes to dry. I'm going to use my Misty for this part, and as you can see I've taken out the foam insert because these rubber stamps have already got cling on them. And because I want to cover this whole piece, I don't want to butt it right up against the edge, so I've just used a bit of repositionable tape to hold my card in place while I line up my stamp. And I'll pick that up with the lid, and then I'm going to use the same VersaFine Vintage Sepia. In hindsight, looking at this card after I'd finished, I think I would have probably got a better effect if I'd have stamped the text in black and then the wood grain in brown rather than using the same colour. I think the lettering would have stood out a bit better if I'd used black, but it's still a nice result. But if I did this card again, I think I'd do the text in black. And now that's done, I can just peel that off and give my Misty and the stamp a quick clean. And I'll leave that to dry for a few minutes before I start rubbing off the masking fluid, because you really don't want to get ink on your fingers as you're rubbing off, because you'll end up making it dirty, the area that you've protected. So I did leave, you can't tell from the video, but I have left this for a few minutes before I've started to rub this off. The masking fluid's really easy to get off, you just give it a rub with your finger. So now I'm going to colour in all the lettering, and I'm just using distress inks as watercolours. So I've grabbed my acrylic block and put a bit of distress ink on, and then I'm just using a bit of water to dilute that down, and then I can go through and colour all the lettering, and I'll do each word in a different colour, and I'm sticking with a sort of autumn fall type colour scheme. I'm using reds, oranges and yellows. So I'll just whiz through and colour in all this lettering. Once you've done all the lettering, if you feel the colours aren't quite vibrant enough, you can always add more layers, but I didn't want this too vibrant, so I wanted it to be kind of a little bit muted, so I've just stuck with one coat, but you can keep going over it until you're happy with the colours you've got. And as you can see, I'm just cleaning off each colour before I start on the next one. I'm not using the same colours again, so there's no need to keep them all on my acrylic block. And then I'm going to use a sort of olive green for this fall. And I'll leave that on my block because I'm going to do the acorns now. And I'm doing them with I think I've used antique linen for the bottom part, and then a brown for the top. But I thought I'd add in just a touch of that green onto the top part, just to give a bit of sort of shading. And then I realised I'd forgotten the little heart at the bottom, so I'm just quickly doing that. And then that's my colouring all done, and I can start to put this together. I've cut the original piece to measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I thought it would be quite nice to add some autumn leaves to this, but I wanted to do them in metal foil. The die set I've got here is one of the monthly kits, the Maker's Mark Die of the Month kits, and this is the Floral 4 die set. And I've just grabbed one of the leaves from this set, and I'm die cutting it from this gold foil that I've got. And as you can see, I don't need to run it back through with my embossing folder because it's already nicely embossed just from going through. I can pop that on my main attraction to keep it out of the way, and I'm just going to put one leaf in each corner like that, and I think that just gives a really nice finish to it. Obviously it's a 1-layer card without this, so it just gives a little bit of dimension. And to go with the colour scheme, I thought a craft colour card blank would be nicer than a white. So I'm just peeling off some double-sided tape, and then the piece that I've cut is exactly the same size, so I can layer that on top. I've just got to carefully line it up since it's the same size. This is where I usually muck up my cards, but I have put it on straight this time. And then as these are metal, I need quite a strong glue. So I'm going to grab some PVA glue. And this is my Cosmic Shimmer glue, which is quite strong. So that will hold those nicely in place. And that's my card finished. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. You can find details of all the products I've used in the description box on YouTube. Also head over to my blog. I'll put a link in the description box to my blog as well. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.